You're listening to Middle-Age Movie Reviews.
Hello, welcome to the Middle-Age Movies Podcast. Four guys saying, please insert your stolen card now. My name is Tim, and my podcasting partners are...
Middle-Age Matt.
Dungeon Master Rick.
And joining us tonight, a man who burst through the doors screaming like a maniac. Come with me if you want to live. From the Andreas the Pop Culture Guy Presents and the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channels, it's Andreas. Say hello, Andreas.
Hello, greetings everyone. I'm back. Thank you, Manton.
You're so welcome, sir. All right, Rick, why don't you tell us what movie Skynet has downloaded to our neural net processor tonight?
All right, you guys. Tonight, we're watching the 1995 movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is number 829 from the book of 1001 Movies You Should Watch Before You Die. Written by James Cameron and William Wisher. Directed by James Cameron, starring none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong, and Robert Patrick.
All right. Well, thanks, Rick. But you know what? You are the guy that is renowned here at the podcast for having the best movies at the end of our episode with super long titles. So I'm going to ask you, how would you title Terminator 2?
So I was thinking about this, so I wrote some things down, all right?
All right. Let's hear it.
All right, here you go. The cybernetic protector from the future charged with saving the destined general that saves the human population against the eradication from Terminator robots. Coming to you right now, everyone.
Fantastic. I love that title.
Nice.
I'm writing a letter to James Cameron right now.
Nice.
Yeah, he could have gone with a better title, but it's okay. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, that works as well.
All right. Well, gentlemen, as per usual, I am curious, when was the first time you've watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Andreas, since you haven't been around for a while, let's hear what you have to say. When was the first time you saw Terminator 2 Judgment Day?
Yeah, so my first time watching Terminator 2 has to be like with my father, and because he was so into the action, Sandra. And Arnold was, of course, he's one of the big popular, action stars during the 80s and 90s, right? The Terminator films are always going to be the household watch. I think I saw this after I saw the first Terminator. It's so weird. It's like you associate Terminator and RoboCop. Of course, after that is like, they have sequels, and they do. Very excited to talk about Terminator 2. It's one of the greatest sequels. Oh my God, a huge step up from the first film, which is crazy. I mean, come on. Like, if you haven't seen Aliens, it's like, oh my God, James, baby, you did it again, And we'll discuss that, which is great. And yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. It's funny because you mentioned watching it with your father. So these past couple episodes have been kind of talking about fathers and sons and families. So I think it's rather interesting that you should bring up that you watched this film with your father. How about you, Rick? When was the first time you watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day?
So it definitely was in the 90s. I know I did not watch it in the theater. I'm pretty sure that I seen it from a rental, like a VHS rental. It's possible I might have seen it on cable TV. I don't know if you remember, but back when we had cable TV, every once in a while, there'd be these deals that they try to get you hooked on HBO and Skinamax and things. So I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think it was probably one of those times when my parents got roped into one of those, for 3 months, you can get HBO for free and things. And I think that's when I saw it. I do accurately remember there was a kid from school. His last name, funny enough, was Demon. His first, I think I remember his first now. I want to say it, but we used to all call him Demon. I remember having a conversation with him, and he was talking all about this movie, the Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And I remember listening to him thinking yeah, that kind of sounds like a pretty cool movie. And I did see it. And I also was like, yeah, this is a pretty cool movie, man. This is cool. This is pretty cool. So, yeah, it was during the 90s. I was in high school, and it's a fantastic movie then. How is it nowadays? Well, I guess you'll have to listen and find out.
All right. Nice segue. All right, Tim, as our resident moviegoer in the 80s and 90s, when was the first time you saw T2?
This is not even a question. Front row at the theater, dude. This was a theater drop for me. And not just me. This was get all your friends together. We're going to go watch the freaking Terminator 2 movie because this is going to be epic. And epic it was. So, yes, front row at the theater. Probably even went more than once, which is kind of unusual for me. I don't tend to throw down cash more than once or twice for a movie. Usually just once is it. And I'm going to say I've probably seen this at least 3 times in the theater and countless times thereafter on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and whatever else iteration is going to come down the way here in the future. Streaming, digital, whatever it is, I've seen it on the format, except for Laserdisc. That's the only one I haven't seen it on, which I was expecting you to say this is what you've seen it on. But now that I've thrown it out there, Matt, did you see it on Laserdisc?
No, I did not see this on Laserdisc. However, I was like maybe 2 or 3 rows behind you at the cinema, and I saw it in the theater with my parents. It was definitely a movie I was looking forward to seeing because I was a big Arnold head back in the early 90s. I watched every single Arnold Schwarzenegger film up to that point, and I was looking forward to it. I was impressed. So impressed that right after we were done watching it, we went to the local Subway so that we could get the collector's cups that they had there for the T2 marketing campaign. And I remember distinctly the local Subway having all the T2 stuff up in the windows and that. You don't see that anymore at Subway. I think ever since Happy Gilmore, Subway really hasn't been pushing any movies or anything.
No, it's usually McDonald's or the more like fast, like Burger King or Wendy's, or usually the ones that do the movie material.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Subway spokesman did bring a lot of heat down on him, so they're probably scared to endorse anything anymore.
That is true.
That is true. Yeah.
Heaven forbid they should be the part of another scandal that will prevent you from wanting to go in and eat their really horribly wet chicken Subway sandwiches.
No offense, folks that eat Subway. It's not healthy. Just go with Wendy's and Burger King. That's maybe a bad influence by Pop Culture Guy.
No, sir. Wendy's, Jimmy John's, and Jersey Mike's. There you go.
Okay. I'll
go
give
with
Jersey
the J's.
East Coast Penn Station.
Okay. I take Jersey Mike's because the Penguin does sponsor them here and there.
And just so you guys know, Jersey Mike, Jimmy John, we need a sponsor. I'm just throwing it out there. We'll not only sponsor you, but we'll eat your sandwich live on air as we talk about the movies.
Yes.
Hey, man, we don't have to only review the movie. We can review the sandwich. Just send it to Middle Age Movie Review Podcast, and we'll do a complimentary review with your complimentary subs. There you go.
We might even have a segment of, if this actor was going to have one of the sandwiches there, what would he want on it?
Well, this has been Middle Age Movie Review Sandwich Talk. We can even pair the movie with the sandwich of the night.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be good. Yeah.
All right. Well, Tim, as our resident sandwich maker and human resistance leader, what are you going to request for a synopsis tonight?
All right. I was super excited about this, and I hope you're ready, because I'm really going to throw it down on you tonight and hope that your acting chops are ready. Tonight, I would like you to read the synopsis as Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor, as she recounts Skynet's plans to eliminate the future leader of the human resistance, assuring a successful campaign to eradicate mankind.
Sarah Connor, huh?
Nah, I'm just screwing with you. I want to hear you do it.
Couldn't have gone with Arnold.
I want to hear you do it as Arnold. I just wanted to see what you're going to say.
I do declare.
Bro.
Yeah, I figured that's the way it was going to go. It's just going to go back to your Southern Belle again. No, please do it as the T-800 Terminator played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here it is. Here's your chance. Be Arnold.
Get to the chopper. Get your ass to Mars.
Do it now. I'm here.
3 billion human lives end on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called War of Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, a war against the machines. The computer, which controlled the machine's Skynet, sent 2 Terminators back through time. Their mission to destroy the leader of the human resistance, John Connor. The first Terminator was programmed to strike at his mother Sarah Connor in the year 1985. Before John was born, it failed. The second was to strike at John himself when he was still a child, but the Resistance was able to send a lone warrior, a protector for John. It was just a question of which one of them would reach him first.
Matthew, I got one word for you. Freedom! Terminator got Scottish, but damn it happened here in this show.
Everything goes back to Scotland.
I thought it was Liam Neeson narrating the Terminator 2 prologue.
It wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. There definitely was a little bit of pull. Back to Scotland. Back to the Highlands. Back to the Highlands.
He didn't get the rest up for nothing.
Oh my God.
All right, Matthew. With that rendition, I think the only thing we can do now is go to the trailer and see how you compare.
All right, here we go, gentlemen.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
29-year-old female diagnosed as acute schizoaffective disorder. She believes that a machine called a Terminator was sent back through time to kill her.
My son, he's in great danger.
Are you the legal guardian of John Connor?
What's he done now?
There was a guy here this morning looking for him, too.
Yeah, a big guy on a bike.
I wouldn't worry about him.
Get down.
Who sent you?
You did. 35 years from now, you reprogrammed me to be your protector here.
He's a Terminator like you, right?
Not like me. T-1000. Advanced prototype.
Kill us all!
Go! Come with me if you want to live. We don't have much time. Excellent.
It's definitely you.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Stay down!
I'll be back.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
That is so badass. That trailer's fantastic, bro. That is so great.
That is a trailer that's going to pack the seats in the theater.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And the greatest part about it is you watch that and there's all that action, and they're not showing you every scene in the entire film. There's still more to go. I mean, normally you see something like that and that is the whole film basically. You've seen all the good parts, so you're just going to go watch what links them all together. That's just the tip of the iceberg on this one. I mean, how you watch that and you don't want to go, it's un-American.
Yeah.
If you don't go see it, it's un-American, damn it.
Yeah, man. You see how many guns were in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't stream America. I don't know what does.
I do like how they kind of say two machines. You get an idea that this T-800 is the protector in the trailer, but they still kind of left a little bit of it ambiguous at the start, and I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
They actually played that out, believe it or not. In the early trailers, they purposely just showed Arnold, and they didn't show Connor at all, so that you didn't know that he was going to be the good Terminator. They only let that cat out of the bag the closer they got to the film, because they were playing these trailers a year out. So for like the first 6 months, you had no idea. You just thought, oh shit, he's back. Here it comes the Terminator again. And they even spent a bunch of money, I think like $150,000, to have a custom trailer created just for this film that's got scenes that aren't in the film. And one of the things that was on there was Skynet building the Terminators, and it's a whole conveyor belt line of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And they partly did that so that you would understand that's why Arnold's able to come back, because people be like, hey, he died in the last film. No, this is the Terminator. It's just Arnold over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I think they did the same thing for the third film. I remember a trailer like that.
Yeah. Back then, I always appreciate teaser trailers. It's the same thing with Jurassic Park. Like, they didn't show you the dinosaurs up to the release of the movie, and like, because you were not ready for the effects, the music, or blah blah blah. And that was always cool because I don't want to get spoiled for anything. It's so weird with James Cameron. His movies are so long. It's like, how the hell are you going to pack all the big crazy scenes from his movie? Like, did they cherry pick like, 2 or 1 like important scenes that's going to make people talk about the movie? You know?
Well, there's a whole art to trailers, and especially back in the 90s. Now we did hear like the voice, the guy of In a World.
Yeah.
We did get that action sense of everything. I mean, stuff was definitely shown to us and not necessarily told to us. And I also like, and you mentioned it a little bit, Andreas, was music, and I loved.
Yeah.
That's so key with this particular movie. I mean, it does show up in the first film, but this one, it really hits home that, hey, we're watching the Terminator universe.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there, that music, the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, that's actually my alarm on my phone.
Nice.
All right. I hear that every day, bro. That is legit. All right. The Terminators are coming, y'all. You got to watch out. They're coming.
Oh, God.
Well, that goes right along with your worship of the AI overlords. So, I'm not surprised.
Hey.
Droid rights. Droid rights. Speaking of them coming, and let's go ahead and then dive into the film that is Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So Act 1, of course, we get the establishing characters and we get the timeline. So we have this great opening sequence of the future as it is in 2029. Watching this back in 1991 and seeing 2029, it seemed like it was such a far off year. But now here we are, the year is 2026. We're doing a podcast about a film that starts off in 2029, travels back to 1995, not 1991, but 1995, because John Connor was born in 1985. Because the original movie took place in 1984. So now we got what I think is a boy who's supposed to be about 10 years old riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, that's actually a big plot, problem. In this. I'm impressed that you've seen that. I think over time, a lot of people have picked up on that too. So yeah, it's a big plot hole.
Yeah.
And you nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
The math doesn't work for me.
No.
You know what? I'm willing to suspend belief, and maybe he's a whiz kid who can ride a motorcycle at the age of 10 when he really looks like he's like 14.
With my rewatch, I always pay attention to the dialogue. There was a line where John said that, my mom, she was prepping him to be the leader that she got from Reese from the first movie. I can take that as a believable thing that he's able to do these, hack stuff. That makes a lot of sense. I forgot that he knew what a Terminator was. Like, he wasn't shocked about it. He just, like, oh my God, this is happening. This was true. Oh my God, my mom was right. And like, what she was prepping me made a lot of sense now. So I believe in that, but I do agree with you about the timeline, Tim. I guess they needed to say that because the Terminator said that the Judgment Day happens in 1997. That's why we're in 1995, because it's that time travel thing of movies where we want to land in this particular type of major event.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off a little bit as I've watched it over the years.
Yeah.
Particularly in the fact that I didn't ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers till I was like around 12 years old.
Yeah,
so
no.
Trying to believe that a little 10-year-old would be hopping on a 100cc motorbike.
I mean, she's been training him to do all kinds of crazy crap all those years, so maybe riding a motorcycle was one of them, because, I mean, the kid knows how to work a computer like a seasoned, 16-year-old hacker. So.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let it slide. I'll suspend disbelief for now.
I think the bike thing is kind of natural. Like, you have to be like very efficient to do that. Like, as a person, I haven't done bike thing, and that's just me. And so I think he just felt comfortable doing that. And also, it's a different type of bike. He's not riding like what Arnold rides. This is something like kids do ride.
Yeah, but have you ever been on one of those? That's still a fairly good sized bike, man. I mean, a 10-year-old, I agree with Matt. I don't think his feet could have reached it's like putting a 10-year-old on a 10-speed or something. I don't think his feet would have reached, the ground with it. And it doesn't, this for sure.
No.
I remember the first time I got on a dirt bike, which was 100% not safe because it was all hobbled together. I think it had like one brake instead of two and things like that. So there's all kinds of bad things going on with it. But I think I was 15 or 16 the first time I rode a dirt bike. And it was a lot for me to handle then. I mean, you don't know what you're doing. Those little, 125s, they move for sure. Matt, have you ever been on one?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I rode dirt bikes and 4-wheelers ever since I was like 12.
Okay.
My uncle had all the cool toys.
How about you, Rick? Did you ever ride one when you were a kid?
I never rode a dirt bike or, any of those type of things. I did a moped. I did have a moped. When I was 10, I did drive that, and we did have a S10 stick shift that I drove when I was 10. It just didn't have the dirt bike. Stick shift, I wasn't very good. I got to be honest.
Find them or grind them.
I was driving it, okay? Not that I condone 10-year-olds driving at any point.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, a 10-year-old behind the car, maybe, but a 10-year-old with a stick shift? Dude, that's yeah, you're a baller, man.
That was definitely a different time, that's for sure.
It was.
Yeah.
So other than the fact that his age is a little off from what the story should really be, what did you guys think of this interpretation of John Connor? I thought he was a little sassy, but not like overly annoying.
No, man, I can totally see a kid being like that. I think he was the perfect amount of preteen angst, for the most part, because he's pissed. I mean, he hasn't had a father. His mom is the parent whack job who's had him hanging out with all kinds of, military survivalist lunatics his entire life. And now he's stuck with some, basically step parents, I guess. I don't know if he was just a foster child. I guess they were foster child. So, your mileage varies on what you get when you're placed in foster homes. But yeah, so I can see him being really angry because life's probably handing him a lot of crap. And, I think just to know that your mom has been spewing this crazy ass story to anybody that will listen, you don't want anybody to know this because you don't want people thinking that you're nuts and things like that, making fun of you because you're 10. I think he's super angry.
What about you, Andres? What do you think of John Connor coming into this movie?
Yeah, it's a natural progression to a sequel. Really great to see, the character alive in the present future. And I always liked Furlong playing this version of John Connor. I always liked this version. I agree with Tim. It's such a realistic interpretation of a preteen. And I just think James did a really good job of just showing the kind of environment that this kid background, and I think it's kind of realistic that, I can see this kid being rebelling, having this pressure of knowing that he's important is really psychologically harming to this kid. And I think the movie does a really good job depicting that, expanding his character. You feel sympathy to him, especially his relationship to the Terminator. It's oh my God, he just really needs love and a parent, and it's crazy a robot can do that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you both. I think Edward Furlong did a great job portraying John Connor. He kind of set the bar on the present day version. How about you, Rick? Any other thoughts on John and Edward Furlong's portrayal of our character?
No, I thought it was pretty cool. The character alone appeals to a little bit broader audience in the 90s and probably brought people like myself in to come and see the film because, you had this kid who was, growing up in a situation, and he had this real badass kind of attitude against everything. He's listening to Guns N' Roses. He's riding on dirt bikes. He's got that kid from Salute Your Shorts as a sidekick, I mean, how can you not want to watch it? Obviously. Yeah. And then when you couple that on top of all the cool action scenes and stuff, it's yeah, I'm down. This is cool. This is really cool.
Right. Yeah. I think the one last thing I just want to mention about John Connor, and he has to be raised by all these different foster parents. And did you guys happen to see who his foster parents were? Because it took me up until like last night to realize that who his foster mother is.
Yes. Oh, I know you're. Yeah. The wife of the foster is from Aliens. She played
Vasquez.
Vasquez. The dad. It was until I saw the other movie he was in, Candyman. This is the douchey guy. He always plays the douchey father or partner in Heat, and of course Candyman. He was one of the main protagonist's boyfriend, but of course he didn't support her after the murders. That's who plays the foster parent, dad.
Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
What I was more or less trying to point out is the fact that James Cameron likes to use the same actors in a lot of his movies, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, Bill Paxton went from Terminator to Aliens.
Yes.
And now we have Vasquez from Aliens into T2. And I'm like, I didn't even recognize her. They did a great job with like her makeup or whatever, because she doesn't look like the butt-kicking Vasquez. Returning actors to this movie is, of course, you know, titular hero, the T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, as we had hinted at, you know, when we first saw these trailers and stuff, you didn't know that he was the protector or the protagonist for our story. It was really neat that James Cameron was able to take that concept of him being the bad guy and then turning it on its head and making him the good guy. And I think that's what kind of really sells this point, is that it's a neat story trope, but it's also something we tend to not really see a whole lot up until T2.
This is something, when I was watching it this time, I actually was like, hell yeah, I never really thought of it like that. He makes like the best anti-hero. The first scene you see him in, he's doing all this crazy shit. At this point, you really don't know what side he's on, because he's over there kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
You know? And then, then we find out that he is actually a protagonist in this. And it's like, you love the badass who's the protagonist. I mean, who doesn't love a good anti-hero? This is fantastic shit.
Well, not only that, but it makes it easy to accept, because this is not a series of movies where we watch, oh, this guy's been this horribly bad guy throughout, and now at the last 11th hour he's going to turn out to be the good guy or something, or he's changed his stripes. He's a cyborg, so he can be programmed into anything you want, and it's completely acceptable. Like, oh, they captured him, they reprogrammed him, and now they made him a good guy. Yeah, I can go with that. I can see that. That makes perfect sense. Why not? So it's an easy transition to believe that can happen over a character just changing their mind on how they're going to approach the characters in the story after being a villain for X amount of time.
Almost like if, say, a white wizard was supposed to be the good guy at the beginning of the movie, and it turns out that he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a wizard. He should know better.
Now, to be fair, though, I didn't trust him. Like, you never should trust the guy from the Hammer Horrors is going to be the white.
It's motherfucking Dooku, bro.
Yeah, well, that was the next year after the Two Towers,
right.
the time to go. So, no offense, Sir Christopher Lee. He's an amazing actor, but I'm sorry. When you talk, it's like you're an evil villain. I just know that.
See? There you go. They've proven my point. They can't believe this guy. You can't change his stripes. He can't be good.
Yeah.
But a cyborg, robot, whatever, yeah, you could reprogram them things every day to do what you want.
Yeah. It was a cool idea. I think it definitely helped us tell the story. We have the established actor that's going to be playing this. And after Terminator, Arnold was such a, he was a big hot commodity as the hero in a lot of movies.
Last action hero.
Yeah.
Yes, he was the last action hero.
Yeah, when I got to this movie for like the first time, the twist did work for me. Because I wasn't yet the person I am today, where I'm like in the internet and I'm in the movie news,
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're looking for is well-rounded. You're now well-rounded because you've watched the proper amount of 80s movies.
Yeah, exactly. And as Tim said before, it makes sense that if you're like a resistant, you're going to reprogram a machine to help you. And we see that a couple of times now, like Rogue One and the Endor show, with perfectly logical storytelling that, Android will be reprogrammed. And it really works in this movie.
And what also sells it too is Arnold's acting. I mean, Arnold spent a lot of time to figure out how to be the Terminator.
Yeah.
And he brought that same method acting to this one. So when he was the evil Terminator, it wasn't personal. It was just, this is what I'm programmed to do. It was done very sterile, very methodical, just, as Matt would say, just a facts man. It's just, it's that kind of thing. And when he's the hero, it's no different. Now I'm just going to do it methodically for good instead of evil, but it's still the same persona. It just, there's no animosity in there. There's no agenda. There's no anger. There's no nothing. It's just, this is what I'm programmed to do, and I'm going to go do that. And I'll do it until I can't possibly do it anymore. Basically, Sarah Connor points that out later on. She's like, he's the perfect guardian. He'll never stop. He'll keep going no matter what. He'll never tell him he doesn't have time for John. He'll never hit him. He'll always be there. He'll die trying to save him. And that's because to him, this is my purpose.
And I think what really helps too is he's also a learning computer. Because he's hanging out with John, he starts developing, or at least mimicking, a lot of human emotions, because he starts doing some classic one-liners. Kind of a nail in the coffin to tell you that he was the good guy is because he quotes Reese from the first film. He says, come with me if you want to live. And I'm like, oh, I see what Cameron did there.
Yeah.
But it's really great writing where you can establish that, hey, this is our hero, and he goes on a hero's journey.
To be fair, he wasn't a learning AI until after the garage scene. I don't know if you caught that. I had to rewatch that scene probably about 4 times because I wasn't sure what the hell they were saying.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the sequel, the perfect writing 101, like paying off something earlier. And we see that with the Terminator, when the careful learning of the AI learning what John is telling him to do.
Yeah.
As I said, I think what pays off and makes this movie work like that, one of the final scenes and the goal in this film that becomes like a secondary goal, past protecting, Connor, is basically that was meant to be in the first Terminator film. And they omitted it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say because we're not there, so I don't want to wreck it. But since that part was omitted and he used that as the basis to write this movie, I think it's why it's so comfortably nestles into the first movie, because it's really an extension piece that was pulled out and then fleshed out to create this movie. So they really bookend each other very, very nicely, where some of the other Terminator movies, they are not as comfortably put together or fit as well as these two movies in this franchise, I think.
No, I agree.
Well, we've covered a lot about Arnold and John, but let's take a look real quick at our antagonist, our introduction to Robert Patrick, who will wind up becoming a guy who says, have you seen this boy for the rest of his life? He plays the T-1000 very methodically. There is some emotion that he kind of, I don't know if he was programmed with it or if he kind of uses it to infiltrate things, but I mean, he plays a great infiltration robot and a great antagonist to this film. You kind of get the idea that he's a bad guy right off the bat because the way that he dispatches the police officer that shows up when he comes into the present day. And again, I think this is just clever the way that Cameron framed it. You see Robert Patrick show up, what looks like punch the guy in the stomach, and then the guy goes down. You don't see what he does to him. You don't get the impression that maybe he stabbed him with something. So you don't really know that maybe he's the killer. And I think that's a great way to kind of lead the audience on with a red herring. What did you guys think of this introduction to the T-1000?
I think this is fantastic. Robert Patrick is really a great step-up villain from the first ones. One of the things you have to think about in a sequel is you need the villain to challenge your hero. And this is one of the most creative things ever. It's like, okay, we got a cyborg. It's like he could do literally doing superhuman abilities. It's like, okay, what's the next step? And you get this crazy idea of a cybernetic creature that's liquid metal, and it just shows you how James Cameron just pushes the boundaries of filmmaking. It's like he pulls it off. He shows you this really ultimate weapon that can go against the Terminator. It's just so creepy, but it's also the actor. Robert Patrick is an amazing actor. Love this actor. Yeah, I agree, Matt. He's such a good infiltration Terminator, because compared to the artery one from the first one, he was just a bullet just crashing through the wall, and it was real. People don't pay attention until he did something that was violent, And here he just did such a good job being stealthy, like the way he talked to the foster parents as a police officer. That's another thing that's like very subtle. I love how this villain is a police cop, and like as a viewer is like you think the cop would be the hero, not this, biker person that's like, should be more of like a villain.
Yeah, you got on that one. It really kind of plays on your head a little bit that the cop is the bad guy and the biker is the good guy.
Good guy, yeah. And because when he kills people, like especially the foster dad, Ton, you can hear him doing his metal. But when he attacks that cop, it's like I didn't hear like the metal coming out of his hand or something like that to like kill him. Cameron did a really good job of stepping up the villain. The effect, that's the big thing about this movie. It was so important to move forward in terms of CGI and special effects, and just the way Cameron, depict this like liquid metal, it still holds up.
It looks good.
And I think what really lends a hand to that is the fact that they were able to morph CGI effects with practical prosthetics and stuff. So you actually got the best of both worlds that kind of really helps tell the story.
Yes.
Well, and this really pushed Industrial Light and Magic to the limit because it started off with 8 guys, and I think it ended up with 35.
Yeah.
That spent, I don't remember, like a year and a half to make these 3.5 minutes total worth of this liquid Terminator. You know what I mean? So they really had to work at it, but I think it shows in the end the time spent paid off because it still looks good today even.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I think to answer your questions on this is a twofold thing. One, you got to give credit to James Cameron. And I'm going to say, he pulled a page out of the George Lucas playbook. How do you have a movie as good as the Terminator and you bring in a new villain? How do you top that? That first Terminator, that T-800 is kick ass. It's one of the coolest things. Who doesn't want to have one of those skulls on their desk? Like, full Terminator skull, and stuff. I mean, it just looks epic. Those things are cool. Even, the models and everything, like that endoskeleton, just that whole thing. Awesome. But he kicked it up. I mean, he did how do you beat Darth Vader? You bring in Darth Maul and you give him a super cool weapon. And you make this guy, he's the opposite of Darth Vader. He's super athletic. He's all over the place. He's wielding dual lightsabers and he looks cool. He's not all metal and stuff. He's got these horns and crap. He made this secondary super cool villain that I think really matches the Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Maybe not pound for pound, but close enough that you're like, yeah, this guy's freaking off the hook as well.
But he's dispatched in the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not saying it was a good choice.
But was he?
Yeah, but much like the Terminators, sometimes characters have ways of coming back.
That is true.
That's all I'm going to say. So, continue your journey into the Clone Wars and you may find out more. Would you like to know more? But I got to give James Cameron credit. Like he kicked it up by having this super cool, like Andre said, this super cool liquid Terminator. Holy shit, that's a great idea. Like this thing, it can morph. It looks cool. The technology was there to make the 3D effects look awesome. It paid off in the space. Add to that, Robert Patrick took a page out of Arnold's book. He's like, I'm really going to study this role and I'm going to figure out how to move like an android would move. But instead of doing it like Arnold did, where he really thought, how would a computer move? How would a robot react and things? He's like, I'm going to make my guy based a little bit more on animals. Like some of his head movements, he fashioned after how an eagle would move his head in that kind of jerky fashion that, they do.
Yeah.
And when he goes through crowds, he's moving like a shark. He's kind of got, so a lot of his stuff is very animalistic, semi-unnatural to the surroundings and the other people around him. So he did a real good job of mimicking the Arnold T-800, but making it his own. And then he kicked it up a notch. Like that scene where he runs after John Connor on that bike, and he's a pretty good runner, but he had to teach himself how to run effortlessly while breathing through his nose at top speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's Matt, you're a runner. I'm going to say
that's hard.
Yeah, you know this for a fact that is not easy to do. And he does it fantastic. And not only that, but he was so efficient at it, he actually was able to catch John on the bike every time. Like they had to tell him, please slow down because you're beating the top speed of the bike. So like that guy really put in the time. And I think in the end, between those two things, it pays off and it makes a great new villain.
I would almost think that he put a little bit of Michael Myers in there too. It's like he's not stopping. He's going to continue to chase and go after this person.
Yeah.
I think what makes you think that a little bit is because like he comes out of fire and things like that. That's a very Michael Myers kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
And he always comes out looking like a human and not like an endoskeleton.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. That does have that element.
Because Tim, you brought up how this does such a good job being booked in with the first film. I like that the sequel does keep up the hectic pace. You're not slowing down, like you're constantly moving, and
There's very few slow spots.
yeah, especially a sequel that's this big. You always worry like, how can you keep up? What I like about the first film, because I love how it was like a slasher film. It was a horror movie, and I like that. Cameron does keep those elements here, but in a much grander level, with the T-1000. The Terminator always brings up that the T-100 knows what I'm going to think. They know what's the next move as a Terminator. That's something that adds the danger and the stakes higher than before.
And I think it also kind of lends to the story too, because now you have two logical thinking beings with the same information. The other guy's like, okay, I know what he's going to do next, and this is what I would do. And I think that kind of lends a lot to moving the story forward, especially when we get to our next character that I want to talk about. But before I get there, I just want to ask Rick, you have any other final things you want to add about our T-1000, our antagonist here?
Yo, the thing that really was fantastic was that the T-1000 seemingly had no weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't fucking kill the thing.
Yeah.
So that made it all the more better. Every single time they're trying to do something and it don't fucking matter. Man, it just made it so good. It just made it such a meaningful fight the whole way through. And I really, really, really love that, especially when you have your own robot on your side that can do all these cool things, but not as strong as this other one. And this other one is trying to kill, the leader of the free world, basically, in the future. So
right,
yeah.
So how are we gonna fight these bad robot usses? By making good robot usses. Like I said, there's one more character I want to mention, and that's John's mom, Sarah Connor. Linda Hamilton comes back. And she's no longer that waitress at the local Greasy Spoon. She's like upped her game in the last 9 years from when we previously saw her. And society thinks she has lost her grasp on her mental abilities because it's established that she's a mental patient. With this wonderful exposition by John as to why she's in the mental hospital, returning is the doctor from the first film. Introduces us to Sarah at the hospital. We reveal that Sarah is now buff. I mean, she got rid of all that baby fat. She's now fit. She's ready to take on the world. She could fight one of these Terminators if they show up. Sarah's back, but she's like Sarah Connor 2.0. I like this version of Sarah Connor versus the one that we saw in the Terminator.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was a condition of Linda Hamilton even doing this series. She's like, look, I won't even come back unless you let me show development in this character. She shouldn't be this soft little 80s girl anymore. She should be hardcore. And man, hardcore is what she brought. She John Wick this thing. I mean, really, she did. I mean, she worked out hard. She looks tough. She looks buff. She did gun training. She did, she learned martial arts, all this stuff, man. So she really brought her A game just like everybody else. And I mean, you believe it. You don't look at this and go, oh, some actor trying to act tough. I mean, this is like Sharon Stone, Total Recall, kick-ass character, development here. She is just, balls to the walls, awesome in this, and I just completely 100% believable. So yeah, I just loved her character. I mean, what more can I say? It was just she just brought it.
Yeah. Not to sound like the agree of the show, but yes, I agree. She's definitely upped her game from the mousy 80s character.
I'm sorry.
Well, Rick, what about you? What do you think of this version of Sarah Connor?
So that I have very particular taste when it comes to female protagonists, and if it isn't believable, fuck it, all right? I ain't down. And this one, there's a reason why. Nowadays, they dissect a female protagonist who is a boss babe. They go back and compare to pretty much two female protagonists from this era, Ripley and Sarah Connor. And there's a reason why, because these two put in the fucking work.
Specify!
You see it from the very first scene you see Sarah in this. She's not doing shit. She's not sitting on her ass. She's not, fucking doing this sour scenes and shit. No, she's over there doing motherfucking pull-ups and chin-ups and sit-ups, and she's fucking working out in a, probably it looked to me like a 2 meter by 3 meter fucking cell, and she's like, she don't need a fucking bed, she needs a workout room. And in fact, the psych ward goes in and is like, you gotta fucking be in a bed, and they put her to sleep because she fucked up her bed. That's basically the way I looked at it. Yes, man, she is a bad motherfucker. This is so believable. It's not some Mary Sue where they don't have to try. They're already good at everything. No, she's a motherfucking beast because she put the work in. And that is, like Tim said, that's character development. All right?
Preach the word.
No, I can agree with everyone here about the character development. It is a really good character development because
of course you agree with the Dungeon Master, bro. I'm fucking with you.
No, Master. I mean, you really have a good point. I mean, trying to get very strong women in like a couple of the movies, like particularly superhero film, always miss the point of making believable female characters is to make them vulnerable and like be relatable. I appreciate Cameron with the writing of the female characters. They're all relatable. I relate to Ripley because I feel so bad for her in Aliens because she lost her time as a mother. And obviously with Sarah Connor, we know she was this nobody like civilian caught up into this like bigger, world that she didn't know that she was going to be in, and that she has to protect her son. And, we see her here. She tried her best to like prep her son. And this is something I didn't like about Terminator 2 as I was growing up versus Aliens is I never liked the way Connor being so harsh on John and like being so focused. But as I grew up and I understood where the story was taking her, I mean, she was dramatically traumatized by the first film. I feel really sad for Sarah during this movie and tried to control her own fate, knowing that her fate is already set up. It's, really haunting thing. And I think that Cameron does a really good job of taking where Sarah was in that first movie and coming to this movie. I just prefer the more like very motherly kind of care that Ripley does versus, this version of Connor being like so gung-ho and like I always get upset when she talks to John like, I can handle myself. And it's like, dude, like your son was trying to be very helpful and trying to save you from, this, Terminator.
And that's what it is, Andres, is when you look at it from a son's point of view to his mother.
Yeah.
And as somebody who has a child, that changes your whole perspective because now your whole life changes. Like where you're like, oh, I'm just trying to help you, Mom. As a parent, you're like, no, one, you're going to be the savior of the world. You cannot put yourself at risk. Mm-hmm. And two, my job is to protect you, not vice versa. You need to understand that. So it's imperative that you listen to me because that's my whole job in life is to get you from the cradle to adulthood without something tragic happening to you. That your whole life revolves around protecting that child and giving them the best outcome you can.
Yo, I gotta chime in real quick because Andreas is completely spot on with the fact that the vulnerability that Sarah Connor shows with her moments of, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it weakness. I'd rather call it humanity. The moments of humanity that we get with her, the scenes specific for her in her own mind that we see her thinking about, dwelling over, those are the things that really put together a full range in a complete hero. Especially nowadays, you've got heroes that have zero flaws, heroes that don't have anything that could potentially be a weakness or something that holds them back to meeting their full potential at all times. And when you have that all the time, it doesn't make it believable versus it is believable. And when you have characters that show their humanity compared to a robot might seem a little bit on the weak side, or at least a weakness, is the thing that we can relate to, no matter how much of a badass they are. But even on the flip side, when we're talking about these robots, the thing that they don't have that perhaps we would consider a weakness is that they don't have the humanity.
Yeah.
Until something changes in the T-800.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I've got a third call here. So joining us from the future, from 2029, our own T-1000, Joey. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we've gone through pretty much the first act of the Terminator movie. Before we move on to continue with the second act, Joey, any thoughts on Linda Hamilton's portrayal of Sarah Connor? What do you think of her portrayal in this film versus the first one?
She's playing a different person. You saw like this little bit of, get up, soldier, in the third act or the final act of the Terminator, a very different movie, a horror movie, science fiction horror, whereas this is science fiction action. And in this one, we see the show. We see she's doing the push-ups. She's a badass. That's the introduction to the audience. And then we see the lie later where she's pretending to be the person that they want her to be, so she can get the hell out and see her son. It's definitely a much better performance. I think she's grown a lot as an actress, and she nails it. This is her Sigourney Weaver, Get Away From Her, You Bitch, Aliens movie.
Yes.
For Linda Hamilton. This is the best movie she's ever made. She knocks it out of the park, and she's a soldier in this one. Like, there's clearly some things happened between the first movie and this movie, and she's trying to become the person she wants John to be.
Yeah, she is. So thank you for that. So now that we've kind of established all our characters and we've kind of got introduced to each of them through the first act, I think the biggest point that kind of melds the first act into the second act is when our T-800 shows up to the mall. And I think it's rather cool of James Cameron's story where the T-800 kind of already knows where John is going to be at this time period. So he's already checked, his foster parents' house, and the T-1000 is like right behind him. He winds up going to the mall, and he just happens to be driving right over one of the spillways, and he's able to see John down in the spillway. So he's able to follow him to the mall. Thought that was a great storytelling device to get us to the mall where we're going to have this really cool fight sequence. And the reveal that our T-800 is our hero. What did you guys think of this whole introduction fight sequence between the T-1000 and the T-800 in those back hallways of a mall?
I will start it off just telling you that was my first peer into the back hallways of a mall. I'll say that. And yes, he put the gun in Rose's. Very on the nose.
Very nice.
That is. I want to know James Cameron did that intentionally. That is so funny. I never realized that.
Dude, it's the most obvious intentional thing. What are we like? Yeah, a couple of minutes away from they were just playing. You Could Be Mine.
The song, yeah. This scene is really great because it's very intense. At that point, you don't know yet who's good or bad. The T-800 say get down is oh damn! So he's the good guy, and then the T-100 is the bad guy. And especially the way he killed that poor bystander there, who was just drinking his coffee or Pepsi, whatever.
Would you say it was collateral damage?
No, it wasn't that guy was stupid. He should have just run, and then he just stands there in front of the gun shootout, and it's what the hell is wrong with you, dude?
I think they should have put the Wilhelm scream there, and that would have made that scene so much more enjoyable.
Yes.
He gets shot, he's
it's a great scene. I love how claustrophobic that fight scene is, that you're seeing their abilities. What's the advantage and disadvantage these two have as weapons of destruction? And and of course you see John being a smart kid running away from this crazy fight that he didn't know what the hell. So it's a really well directed scene.
I mean, it's such a pivotal scene because one, as it's now going to establish, we're going to know who's the good Terminator, who's the bad Terminator. Two, we get to see what's going to happen when that T-1000 gets hit. This is the first time we're going to see a hole blown in that thing. Get to see that cool open, like blast hole and then watch it kind of seal back up, which is like, oh crap, this is a game changer. Like this thing can self-heal. So now we know it has abilities that the T-800 doesn't have. And then on top of that, we are now going to understand that this is no longer a fight of a Terminator chasing a human and the human having to fight it off. This is going to be two wrecking balls going at each other nonstop with collateral damage happening everywhere. I mean, they hit drywall, which you expect to break, but then they hit a cinder block wall and it goes down like the drywall went down.
Right.
So you're like, oh shit, things just got real. It just got, turned up to 11. So that means every fight we're going to see going forward is going to be epic. And you're just like, let me put my seatbelt on because I might get thrown out of the seat during this one.
Right. Yeah. If I can totally recall this, I believe
that's a different movie, Matt. Different movie. We're not talking about Total Recall. Please stay focused.
Total Recall.
He grabs John and he manages to, like, just a couple seconds earlier, John couldn't get through the door, and just the fact that he was able to grab him, pull him up, to show that he's protecting John. And it's really cool. I mean, it's a great story trope to kind of show where everything is at before the end of days. What about you, Rick?
That's another movie. That's a different Schwarzenegger movie. Stay on target.
All right.
Yeah, dude, you gotta just eraser those ideas from your head, bro.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that I really enjoyed. Watching it now, for me, it really does make something a little bit more special that they actually started this scene not only just in the mall, but in the arcade, which is like, that's not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? But back in the 90s, that was the thing.
Yeah.
That was the fucking thing, man. So I thought that was amazing. And even leading up to that scene, there was this whole little cat and mouse game that was being played that seemed like only the T-1000 knew it was being played because the T-800 didn't really know what was going on necessarily, besides he was supposed to protect John. It was cool that they just missed each other so many different times. The directing in that was really, really fun. Really, really cool. When they see each other, when they meet each other, that's just sparks flying. And it's epic. I mean, there are times when if it was an anime, then it would go white. Like, it would go black and white because shit's hitting the fan, all right?
Right.
So, yeah, super cool.
After the whole fight sequence in the mall, Robert Patrick takes off after John Connor in this very angsty feeling sequence where John's trying to get away by starting his motorcycle, and he manages to take off, and we have this really cool sequence where he's like riding his bike away from this T-1000 who's doing this great running man run.
Oh, Jesus.
So I just have to ask the question, Robert. Okay, so John's already took off. Robert Patrick's chasing after him. He gets to the tow truck wrecker semi-tractor trailer and chases John. How does the T-800 know which way they went? Because all of a sudden he's now back on his motorcycle and he's chasing after these guys.
I mean, I guess if there's early cameras at some of the intersections, maybe he's able to tap into that system.
Well, that's a Terminator 3 thing.
I'm just saying that would be the only thing I think.
It's because the world hadn't caught up with like everything being connected yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time, it would have been analog CCTV that the cops had access to.
Right, but
at the station.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's still the internet existed, but it wasn't, the web like we know it yet today.
We weren't in the Internet of Things era at all.
Not yet.
But some of the government facilities had such connections through the internet.
I think we're reading way too fucking much into this. It's just a movie.
That is true. Yeah. And it was one of those
satellites, man. Satellites.
Yes. He was tapping into the satellites. Yes. That's why he was able to track John and the T-1000.
Poo-poo on that, Joey.
Maybe he just knew what direction they were headed. Literally in this, you can only go so many ways. What do you even call it? A drainage ditch? It's a concrete drainage ditch?
It's actually a spillway.
Spillway. Yeah, because there's probably only so many directions of the spillway.
That is true. And it was already established that John uses that as conveyance for his motorcycle, so he doesn't have to, get it to be street legal.
Yeah. I think the Terminator just knew it because he just thinks like, okay, what kind of, 11, 12-year-old kid will go with that, bike. We know these two Terminators just have a good calculation of how to chase and locate their target, and especially because the Terminator he knows everything what John, his older self, told him about his history, just like Reese knew because John told him. It's that time loop thing. He knows everything what John thinks and what he will probably do. That's something we have to kind of think about.
You learned it through John.
Yeah.
I learned it from you!
I learned it from you, So, yeah.
Or as a Terminator, he can, he can see an infrared. He probably can, see over a vast, long distance.
Oh, yeah, that too.
He probably has more than just 2x vision, I'm going to say,
True,
yeah.
True. And of course, later on in the movie, they do establish that, he sees everything.
He's Santa Claus? Are you trying to tie this in the Jingle All the Way too, Matthew?
I was actually eventually trying to get us there too.
Oh my God, Jingle All the Way.
But we get a really cool, action chase sequence between the two motorcycles and a semi-tractor trailer. I have to ask, does James Cameron have something against semis because he destroys 2 semi-trailers in this movie? Does he just not like semis? I'm curious. You guys got any thoughts on that as we lead into this great chase sequence?
Maybe he's been wronged way too many times in the highway, and this is how he exacts his revenge on the average truck driver.
I think it probably has something to do with the fact that in Beverly Hills Cop, they use semis in the city of Detroit, and that was fantastic. So James Cameron was probably like, you know what? We're going to have to bring some of that heat. We're going to have to bring some of that smoke over here to these movies too, because people apparently like semis. And honestly, I think that was actually a thing in the 90s. I remember when in the 90s, whenever we was on road trips, what were you guys doing? Because I don't know about you, but I was doing that thing with the arm trying to get them to blow man. Yeah, semis are badass things, man. Hell fucking yeah, dude. Semis.
So he's trying to channel a little 70s Convoy in this, is what you're saying? Or some Smoking the Bandit vibe or something? He's like, I'm bringing it back. Bringing the 70s
those
back.
trains that go around the mall and they they got kids riding in them and stuff? I did that the other day. I looked at the conductor, I gave him the fist pump, and he honked the train horn.
Really? That's cool.
Where were you at where you were in a mall? I mean, if they had a train in it, no less.
Orland Park, Illinois. It's okay. I don't live there. I can say it.
I have this crazy reach here. You guys don't know about James Cameron? Before he was a filmmaker, he was a tow trucker. I don't know. That's a crazy callback to his previous job. Because when Star Wars became a big hit in 1977, that made him change his career to become a Hollywood director.
So I think what you're saying, Andres, is that allegedly he might have had a bad experience as a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
Stole his old boss's tow truck, ripped the whole top of it off, and put it back in the yard at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here. This is a callback to his old job that he probably didn't like.
You explained that to the insurance company, you bastard.
Yeah.
Who does he have for insurance in? Would it be Allstate or State Farm?
I say State Farm because they got the best,
because they know how to get to the chopper.
Yes, get in the chopper.
There you go.
Well, other than seeing the destruction of a semi-tractor trailer in the spillways of LA, I also like the sequence where we see Arnold's able to spin the lever action gun and then fires it from the motorcycle.
But where does that come from, Matt? Where does that come from?
That is pretty slick. I'm thinking this, classic Western, The Magnificent Seven.
No, that's a John Wayne thing, man. John Wayne's famous for that lever action shotgun with the big, the kind of the big circle on it and doing that whole one-handed thing. So, yeah, he's reenacting that. I mean, he did that in, I think, 4 movies is where he used that.
True Grit, that's where I saw it from first. And then I think it has to be Searchers, right? Or
I heard that in these movies that he was really bringing the heat. It was like red heat, bro. That's just what I heard, though.
Jesus.
Oh, my God. I love it.
Did I really open a can of worms with this?
Yes, it's on. It's on.
Hey, man, it's on like Donkey Kong, and I can't wait to talk a little bit more about Linda Hamilton's twin. So, yes, there are twins in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
At least Andre got it. At least Andre got it.
Just remember, you're responsible for the whole aftermath of this now, Matthew.
I did another movie with Danny DeVito called Junior.
That's some weak sauce trying to add that in that way.
Yeah.
Hey, I love Junior.
Negative 1 point, Joey.
Andres, did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we move further down the storyline?
No, just briefly wrapping up. This scene is iconic. One of the best action scenes of all time.
Nice.
Yo, I gotta add this before we move on, because when I was watching this scene, I was like, that's like pretty crazy. It looked like when the Terminator drove into the spillway from the top, it looked like it was like really Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did he do that fucking stunt? So I had to look that shit up, you know?
And the answer is?
It's a mask.
Yeah, it was a mask. That was a dude. It was his Canadian stunt double for Arnold Schwarzenegger, Peter Kent. And apparently James Cameron on record saying that's the most dangerous stunt ever did. Apparently they had to like wire him up and the bike to crane just to make sure that it was going to be all right. I didn't realize it would be that dangerous either. I just thought it was like, oh shit, did he do that stunt like on his own, you know? But yeah.
Actually, there's one more dangerous stunt in this movie. And when we get to it, I'll let you know what it is.
All right.
You know, I've seen this movie in several different formats, not Laserdisc. Watching it last night, it was funny. I'm going through going, okay, stunt double, regular Arnold. Stunt double, regular Arnold. Stunt double, regular Arnold. Because there was a lot of scenes you can clearly see where the stunt double is, especially with John Connor. You know, as he's riding the bike, like, oh,
it's an unattractive stunt woman. Yeah.
I thought the guy wearing the Arnold mask, though, it looks pretty good. Like, you really have to look at it. And even then, I'm still like,
yeah,
I still think that might have been Arnold. Like, you know, it's not in your head.
Definitely.
But the mask is so convincing that you're like, yeah, I think that was him kind of thing. So
they pulled a George Lucas with the 4K, though.
Yeah.
Because it's so quick and easy to do now. They went back and it's no longer these masks on the stunt doubles. They replaced their faces.
Yeah, the fact that Arnold wears sunglasses, that helps to like cover up
the holes in the mask.
Yeah, the hole in the mask.
Yeah.
So like
Well, so after John gets rescued by the T-800, John understands that this T-800 is there to help him out. Finds out, or he learns that he actually can control the giant killer robot, and he starts in a way programming our T-800 so that it has more humanistic qualities to it. But after that sequence, we kind of jump ahead a little bit to Sarah at the insane asylum, and she's being interviewed by cops about the arrival of the T-800 at the mall, and Sarah is unresponsive. I mean, she's just completely like devoid of any emotion. She's just sitting there, and the cops are just frustrated, and they send Sarah back to her room. I think at the point where Sarah realizes that, hey, I need to get out of here. I need to go save my son. And it helps reinforce the drive. And she does this really clever thing where she steals that paperclip, and using the training that she has acquired over the years, she manages to Houdini herself out of this room. But before she's able to do that, I think probably the most disgusting scene of any movie occurs when that particular orderly drops her off in the room.
The lick heard round the world?
Yeah. He just licks her on the face. I'm like, dude, no.
Yeah, there's 2 licks that I think of when it comes to face. 3. Catwoman, Batman Return. Linda Hamilton being S.A.'d in this movie.
The center of a Tootsie Roll Pop?
The third being...
The center of a Tootsie Roll Pop?
What?
A 1, a 2, a 3.
I wasn't counting animation, but let's do it. And then Dave Chappelle is Rick James on Chappelle Show.
My God.
He licks a chick's face.
Oh, like Rick James, bitch. He's amazing.
Such a funny guy. Such a funny guy.
Yeah. I don't know how to get from Chappelle back to Sarah, so I'm just going to say, meanwhile, we're establishing Sarah's in the hospital, and the T-1000, who's now lost John Connor, and he's trying to find a way to get back at him. He goes through his index of records and discovers, okay, well, you know, Sarah Connor's at the hospital. So in his police uniform and police patrol car, he shows up to the hospital, and we get this nice slow approach of him just kind of methodically working his way through the hospital to get to her. And that's where we get to see another set of twins. Not triplets, but twins.
Hey.
Our security guard, actually a a twin as well. Him and his brother are acting twins. You might have seen them in a classic 1990s TV show called Erie, Indiana, I think it was.
That sounds about right.
Well, I remember them from another movie where it's like this. Oh, of course, the sequel's better than the original. Gremlins 2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He was the twin doctor with also Christopher Lee.
Playing a drinking game, Gremlins 2 is better. If you're not playing a drinking game, Gremlins 2 is a really good Key and Peele sketch.
Oh, but this whole infiltration of the hospital with the T-1000, I think this is where the CGI really comes into full view, because we've got the T-1000 who's managed to make himself the floor, and I think that was probably the coolest effect of him morphing from a checkered floor into this version of Robert Patrick, or actually to one of the twins.
And they said that he has to physically sample them.
Right.
So getting the guy to walk over him was how he cloned him.
I actually got to say, out of all the things that the T-1000 does, it's the floor that really gets me the most. Like, we know, like, oh, if he touches something, he can duplicate it. So we expect him to be people. But when he comes up off that floor, you're like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that as being, something he could do. So that was, it's simple, easy to do probably, but super cool when you think about it.
Tim actually has a horrible phobia of floors now, and everywhere he goes, we have to push him around on a couch, and he has to pretend the floor is lava.
My whole life is hot lava.
Or in this case, it's liquid metal.
Well, you never know, Maybe in the future, 75-year-old Tim is the leader of the human resistance against the AI that has been established in 2029.
Hey, man, I understand I'm expendable. I can't take no chances.
All right.
Well, Andreas, since you're expendable 2 or maybe 3.
Wow. Excuse me. I'm the bad.
As I understand it, there was an Expendables 4.
Oh God, don't even bring that up. Anyway,
I never saw it.
Okay, I didn't see either, but it was pretty bad, I heard. Anyway, rest in peace, Redhead, Red Guard. You got a really raw deal.
He was a really nice guy too. I liked it. It acts as kind of a time capsule where we see where he's trying to play a game where he's looking at the bottom of the cup. They don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was weird. Like, as a kid, I was like, wait, you do that with a coffee? Like, this is such a weird rhythm thing. Like,
yes, there used to be coffee machines that would drop a cup and then it would fill up.
I knew that. Yeah, it was just the card thing, the royal card thing of like putting.
It was like a peel off.
Sir, it was a game changer back in the day.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's memes now where like they used to like print, winning caps on plastic bottles too, and people would be like trying to use a mirror and angle it in the gas station to see if it was a winner, so they'd get a free 20-ounce Pepsi.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it is a common thing. I agree with Tim here, because the scene previously, Arnold, the Terminator, tell John about what the T-100 can do. Yeah, he could do, things like, being shapeshift and do liquid metal, all that. He couldn't do, like, he cannot create a bomb or be a gun, because he cannot produce chemicals,
Can't make moving parts.
Yeah, moving parts, right? We get that. And, like, you see this scene here. Where the hell is that little bugger popping up on the floor? And, like, damn, that is literally like a slasher killer move.
Yeah, he's the ultimate predator.
Yeah. Go what?
Nice.
I feel so bad with my raw deal, like a very obscure order film, and then Tim had to take the best one. I could give you.
Yeah, you got a raw deal on that one, Andreas. Okay.
But yeah, great scene. I love how different he is from the T-800, like how he infiltrates. He takes his time, carefully move around. And I like the scene with Sarah, getting out. By the way, that creep is so bad. I was so happy when he gets his nose get broken and like get beat up by Sarah. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, she like goes full commando and manages to make her way through the hospital by getting the doctor in a position where she can like put a needle into his neck, and she just manages to make her way through there.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really cool.
He forces her hand. She's trying to play the game. She's like, oh, look, I've been trying to be a good model, a patient and this, that, and the other. I just want to see my son. And he calls her to the floor, rightfully so. He's, Dr. Silverman's like, look, you're highly intelligent. I know that. And I think you're just telling me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And once he's like, so I think we're going to have to go another 6 months before we can even consider this. And that's the point where she realizes, okay, fuck this guy. I'm going to have to come up with my own escape plan. And I'm going to have to figure my way out of here. So it's well thought out. It's very well thought out. She's putting it together as fast as she can because she knows she needs to get out, especially once the cops start questioning her about, well, we've seen this guy and we know who he is.
Yeah.
Now she's really desperate. She's like, I got to get out of here because I got to get to my kid. And I will say, for as well as it's thought out, it's believable. It's executed well. But the thing I think that the missed opportunity here was when Dr. Silverman sees that T-1000 come through those bars, we just missed the when he just drops a load in his pants. It was the one sound effect they totally just missed. I felt like they should have done that because that guy's just like, holy shit, she's been telling me the truth the whole time. It just...
So you wanted him to be like Paxton in True Lies. Just peeing his pants.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Abby, I got True Lies.
No. Look. If we want to talk about True Lies here in these scenes, you got two things going, basically. You got, on one end, you got Sarah Connor telling these true lies to the psychologist, right?
It's part of her escape plan.
She does want to be with John. She does want to be with John, but at the same time, she's full of shit. How is that? I don't know. It's a true lie. And then here's the other one. When John says, hey, you gotta promise me you're not gonna kill a human, he's like, yeah. What's the first thing he does when he sees a human? He fucking shoots him twice in each leg. You know what I'm saying?
He'll live.
So, by the way, that scene was just so epic, so hilarious. And I don't know how, if anyone didn't thought that was funny, because he straight up was like, sure, fine, no killing. But that doesn't mean I can't shoot him. I just can't kill him.
Yeah.
That was just so freaking awesome. This whole sequence was so fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to see, Sarah getting down and sneaking and using her, skills of that she picked up in Guatemala and things like that, Central America or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super duper duper cool.
She had like a really great escape plan.
Yeah. And it would have worked. It would have worked, but she got held up by the elevator. And then after that, we get that iconic sequence where, Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out of the elevator and you're like, she's like snapping. She's like, oh my gosh, it's here. It's going to kill me. And you can feel for her because the audience knows that he's the good guy. But from her point of view, she's like, she knows it's the bad guy. And then when John shows up, I'm like, there, see, snap out of it, lady. There's your kid. She's completely oblivious to it. And she's like running back towards the other door. And then she gets bum rushed by the security guards. I can't help but wonder, why didn't the security guards notice the big, giant, guy walking with a shotgun? I mean, they were oblivious to the fact that there's something there. I mean, probably the worst security guards in the entire industry.
It's past visiting hours. It's just the night shift. There's hardly anybody there.
It's so realistic because that system is so corrupt, especially the guy with the licky teeth. I'm like, I don't trust these security guards,
I've seen some people ignore cameras, Matt, and I'm gonna have to say this was hyper realistic.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Matt. This is a great scene when he comes out of the elevator and her reaction is so good. It's the first time you're seeing her being vulnerable. It's the trauma. It's like the memories are rushing back again of like what he did to her back in 1984. And it's like so well done. This is the best performance of Leighton Hamilton's career. This movie is so like her aliens. Even John cannot like get her out of the like froze state she has, just seeing the Terminator again. It's just until he says the word that Reese said to her the first time in 84.
Yeah, and it carries on because after he says that line and he goes to save her, that's when she determines that he's not the villain.
Yeah.
They manage to make their way back to the elevator, and they get out of there as they're fighting the T-1000. While they make their getaway, they manage to get another vehicle, and they hide out in a garage. And I think that's a great scene where we get the fact that John's now starting to understand more of what the Terminator is all about, and the Terminator is starting to understand everybody else, and he starts learning, because we get that scene in the car where he's seeing Sarah check out John to make sure that he's okay, and then he starts crying and tearing up, and it kind of sets that thought in his head that, why is he crying? What's crying? Almost a humanistic part of the movie.
I thought this was a really cool sequence. I had to rewatch it several times because I wasn't exactly sure what they were saying and why they had to go into the T800 CPU. But apparently, for anyone who missed it, his processor was in a read-only state, which prevented him from being able to actually learn. So when they took out the CPU, they were able to remove the pin and then make it writable so that he could actually move forward and learn from what was going on in the world around him and with the choices that he made and things of that nature. The funny thing is when Sarah was about ready to just straight up destroy it. Like, they had a cool weapon, a tool, an AI functioning Terminator machine at their disposal. And Sarah was like, fuck that, let's kill it now because it's going to turn on us eventually, So, and it's really cool because John, he took his stance and he was like, look, all right, if you want me to be the leader of the human race, then I gotta start now. And I thought that was cool.
I mean, John's looking at her, he's like, look, this is a game changer. We've got a Terminator at our disposal, so we should use this. Like, you can't look at this as a negative. You have to look at it as a positive. You have to let your feelings go and use this because it's the only thing that we've really got that is going to, help us achieve our goals and possibly, let us live.
You know what I find interesting about this whole sequence here is this whole part didn't come out in the theater.
No,
it's all in the extended edition, the ultimate edition. It helps the story, but we can live without it. I mean, you still get the sense that he learned something without them altering his CPU. But I think it's a great addition to the story.
I mean, really, that line that covers it that you just said, look, the more I'm around humans, the more I learn, amply covered this whole section easily, just with one line, the same effect, really. So you're really not missing out, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree, you guys. I like that scene because it develops more the character development for like Sarah to appreciate more of the Terminator. And like, I think that's something that's kind of important to know. And especially John, like you see that John is getting more attached to this Terminator, slowly. And I think that scene is really good. This is where we learn more about the mission, and we learn more about Judgment Day, because we got alluded to it in the first movie, but I'm trying to remember if we ever say Judgment Day. But in this movie, we learn more about like how did Skynet became a thing. Like, that's something that I appreciate about this film. They expanded the lore. Because, like, we know about the Terminator, we know about Skynet, the future and all that. But there was always a question of, like, how these got to this point. And I like that this section, we learned about more of, like, Skynet and, like, how, like, Judgment Day became a thing, So this is my favorite part of the movie. And the slow the slow moment is good because we got to take our time to, like, care about the character.
Yeah, it's our pause, our breath as we go from... we go from running a half marathon to a marathon.
I think it just does a really nice job of giving us some backstory.
Yeah.
Showing us that this is a battle through time now. It's not just a battle for humanity, that happens after this, but they figure out a way to actually make this a battle across time. and it's nice that we get that. It doesn't feel clumsy. It doesn't feel forced. I like that it comfortably moves us into a secondary objective that wasn't always there at the beginning. Originally, it was just find John, protect John, prevent the 1000 from getting to him. That was it. That was like the whole movie. And they're like, well, now that we got this background and he's able to maybe even fill in a few holes in the narrative for Sarah Connor, she's like, oh, well, shit, I know how we can stop this. And it has nothing to even do with the T-1000. Like he won't even see this coming. And if we do this, it'll stop him cold. So it really moves us into the next act, into this secondary objective that you didn't even know was going to be there super comfortably, which is going to be the piece that was left out from the last movie. And it was what this whole thing was built on. So he did an awesome job of riding around that and making it work.
And even the fact that he uses the small moment just to kind of give that extra exposition, I think works really well with the story.
Yeah.
Along with that whole sequence of exposition, and we also get a human moment when they stop to get food and gas, and then we get a little more history with what was going on with Sarah, and we see in that small little doom prepper farm where she's been storing stuff. So we get to know a little more about what she was doing in that 10-year span of raising John. And I just think that this is a really cool sequence. It kind of gives more of a backstory to everything. So I guess in a way I'm agreeing with you there, Tim. But I do want to point out a character that we get to see when we show up to that farm out in the Southern California. The guy that runs the farm that Sarah asks the truck. Do you guys recognize that actor?
No, I was too busy idling the guns that we're about to see.
The actor was actually in The Usual Suspects. He was the guy that was going to rat on Kaiser Sose that on the boat.
Oh, yes, that's who he is.
I just seen this guy when we watched The Usual Suspects.
Good catch, Matt.
So yeah, so like I said, we get to see a treasure trove of Sarah's, or a little doomsday, a cache of weapons. Tim, I'm gonna turn it over to you, buddy. You want to go through any of those cool guns that we see? Just kind of give us your opinion of.
It'd be probably easier for me to tell you what was in there than what wasn't there. There's everything. I mean, there's miniguns, there's grenade launchers, there's AK-47s, there's AR-15s. It's just everything and anything you could want is in that little bunker. It's just, yeah, it's just exciting to see. Like, I would like to shoot that. I would like to shoot that. I would like to, it just, but I think the coolest thing is when he finds that minigun, he pulls that tarp off. You're like, oh, this is the gun the Terminator should use. And if you've ever played the Terminator 2 video game, it's very prominent in that. And it just, like a lot of Terminators carry those in there. And he's just like, yeah, this is it. Like, yeah, this is the gun. And although I love the little grin that he gives him when he's like, oh, yeah, that's totally you. The grin's really wrong. Arnold should have never smiled, because I don't think that, the Terminator should be like, yeah, there shouldn't be that, that recognition of this is the coolest thing ever. But
that was part of a deleted scene as well. At the gas station, he's like, you should try smiling every once in a while.
Oh, okay. That would explain it.
And he tracks the smile of someone else.
Yeah.
And then Arnold very closely mimics it, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
But like it was a time thing. And then so later, he's not saying that the gun is you. The smile is you. Because I told him to work on it, and he just did a smirk, and he goes, it's
okay.
you.
No.
Yeah, it's been a quick minute since I've seen the extended or director's cut. I watched the OG for this one. I just want to watch the theatrical version to talk about it. So
same here.
But that makes more sense now. I'm glad you told me that, Joey, because I totally didn't remember that. But yeah, I mean, just when he picks that minigun up, you're like, yeah, this is fitting, and it's about to go down. It's going to be epic. So
yeah,
super excited about that. And the other thing I like about the scene too is it helps reinforce the torment that Sarah Connor has gone through. When we heard about the dreams and the things she said, kind of when she's sitting back at the sanitarium and Dr. Silverman's kind of going through it and playing the videotape to her. But now she mentions the dream. We get to see the dream.
Yeah.
And that dream is really well done. I mean, they used a lot of practical effects, and I guess, effects crew's been told that is the most realistic portrayal of a nuclear explosion that's ever been put onto film for a for a fictional film. So they nailed it, and the intensity of it. And I think it just helps reinforce, like, this is why everybody thinks she's crazy. This is what torments her at night, because she just relives this over and over. And this is what has brought her from being this very cute 80s, big hair girl to this hardcore commando that we're going to see in this film.
All right, Tim. I'll give you that one. That was a good one. I gotta say, seeing this in the theater as a kid, it kind of freaked me out. And still today, it's just that sequence of seeing her like body just almost melt completely off. It was just, yeah, it's a tour de force of special effects. I mean, the fact that everything is just destroyed by some kind of destroyer,
That's a little weak.
All right. That's a little weak
that's
sauce.
A tough one to get, though. That's a very tough one to get.
Yeah. Even as she's sitting there thinking about it, she does carve that phrase in there, "no fate," and I think it's a nice callback to the first Terminator movie.
This scene is so scary. Like, I the thing that is making it really uncomfortable is like the World War II, videos of like atomic bombs, seeing people being covered by fire. That's a very scary thing when you seeing those, like a mother holding the kid and being completely hit by, the heat is so scary. And just seeing Sarah like being holding in the fence and her screaming, and then you see the whole skeleton body after like that second hits her skin and all that. It's like, oh god, very powerful scene.
Yeah. Joey, is there any comments you have towards Sarah's dream or the cash?
So we open the movie with it kind of, and then we're brought back to it with the no fate. It's interesting.
The T-800 keeps saying that the T-1000 has all the same files he does, so he's going to start predicting the same stuff that he would do. The fact that Sarah decides to go after Miles Dyson and to take on and destroy Cyberdyne Systems, it's definitely a wild card for the T-1000. And later on, he shows up at Miles's house after they destroy all of his stuff at home. But before we get to that, like I said, Sarah decides to attack Miles Dyson, and she takes off. And I felt as though the next sequence where John sees the no fate carved into the picnic table felt very much like a classic 1966 Batman and Robin episode where, someone sees something and goes, no fate. That means that's what my father told her. She's going to change the future. She's going to change Miles Dyson. How do you get that from no fate? That's like saying, okay, the letter C, as in Catwoman. No.
Or like, was it, Clue, like the Riddler, like I'm like, how the hell you get this?
She's gonna blow him away. Yeah, that was some.
Yeah,
he was doing his best. William Shatner, T.J. Hooker, realizing, oh no, it was a little over dramatic, but I'll never forget that.
Yeah. But then Sarah shows up at Dyson's house and ends up attacking the family. She breaks in after shooting the place up, gets Miles in the shoulder. She's about ready. I mean, you can see in her eyes that she's ready to kill Miles. She stops because her humanity kicks in. She sees Miles as a father. He's a husband. She decides that she doesn't want to kill him, and she just like kind of totally collapses in on herself. And then that's, of course, when John and the T-800 show up to kind of try to make best of the situation. They save Dyson, and John consoles Sarah from her mental break.
Yeah, this was a really, really, really good sequence. I especially like the beginning of it when she's playing sniper rifle, trying to like get an assassin off, and then it just so happens that he like ducks right when she shoots, and she's like, "Oh shit!" She goes fully automatic mode. So that was like really cool. But when it came down to it, she knew it wasn't the right call to straight up kill him, and instead they did something that was better. They ended up recruiting him because they laid everything out. They said, "Hey, you're creating the end of the world right now." So they laid out the information that they had about how Judgment Day comes about. And they turned him into an ally. You know, he showed his humanity. She showed her humanity. John showed his humanity. I mean, it was definitively not a weakness. It was a boon for the endeavors of the human race. You know, cooler heads prevailed in this particular case. So it wasn't necessarily because they shot, aimed, and met their mark. It was actually because they missed. Really good. Really good. Very, very, I mean, especially because you get to hear, once again, the really cool tale about Judgment Day, you know?
Yeah, it is. You know, and that whole point when, you know, he reveals to Dyson that he's a Terminator, and you see the look on his face and how freaked out his wife gets.
Yeah.
That's some pretty darn good acting in my opinion.
Yeah, and he rips off his fucking arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to sell it?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell me, show me, you know?
The realization on his face when he realizes that what he's looking at is that shit that's sitting in his lap. You know, it's just like, oh crap, this is all on the level.
He's then able to convey that all on his face, and I'm just like, that is great. I love this actor. I mean, I even like him later on when he's in that TV series Eureka. I mean,
he's my favorite auto mechanic.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, he's just doing the Miles Dyson character again on the TV show, but I think it's great.
Yeah, that guy's really good. He's solid.
The two movies I think of are this and Speed.
Yes, Joe Morton is great in Speed. He has the best reaction ever. Like, especially towards the end when he's like, I can't hold it. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, and he does die. Oh my God.
I feel like if he had the Morgan Freeman voice, he'd be like Morgan Freeman, like 2.0 almost a little bit. Like,
yeah,
he's just like, you like him, you know, he just seems super friendly. He's somebody you want to, you know, hang out with and stuff. Like, yeah, that guy's he's solid. Like, anything I see him in, he's always really good.
He's a great addition to the film. Without him, the movie does kind of feel weird. He's kind of like this very optimistic person about technology. That's the thing I like, how subtle they are. But I like how realistic he is when he realized what it could potentially do in a very awful way. And I like how he's like, okay, I know it's my life's work, but I need to stop this. This is, you know, potential danger in the future, you know? So I like his character quite a bit.
I'm about to say, I think this is partly the thing that people are concerned with right now in the world we live in today.
Yeah.
Because we have people who are developing these technologies of artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence for the betterment of humankind. And it's, despite it being science fiction, it's tales like this that are words of caution that perhaps there does need to be a bit more, because there's like no guardrails. So there need to be a bit more guardrails on what it is that's being developed to potentially make the world a better place, or at least fill the pockets of the greedy corporations in the world. But it's been referenced, I don't know how many times, with people I talk to when talking about artificial intelligence, the future, and the development. There's always a circle back to the Terminator series. To really, it's this one. It's this movie.
You hit it, man. You're right on it. And the problem, I mean, this movie's so relevant, especially today. And I don't even know if James Cameron ever knew it was going to be so relevant. But you have people who have quit working on AI simply because it has spooked them and freaked them out, because they're like, we started the experiments and it went off the rails. It started creating its own language. It started doing its own things. We didn't even know what it was doing. And there's people who are like, I don't care. Keep it going. I want to see what this happens with this. You know, for as much as, you know, there's some people, as you guys have pointed out, that they're doing this for the betterment of man. There's some people that just like, I just want to see where this will go.
Yeah.
And there's been talk about taking AI and putting it in charge of missile defense systems and things like that, because it takes the human element out of it. so that it can make better decisions. Somebody won't be willing to not hit that button because of their emotional state of, not wanting to have to destroy the world or whatever, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, it takes that human element out of it. And there have been many times that people don't realize how close we've been to nuclear war, and it's been somebody who's made a proper decision based on the facts or lack thereof, instead of just following protocol, which is what AI would do. It's just like, no, here's the protocol, it's met it, we're launching, kind of thing. And it's not even on AI 100%. I mean, you got that damn Hadron Collider. Those guys turned that damn thing on, and they were like, well, it may do something good or it may completely destroy the world, but we're going to flip the switch anyway. A lot of times, corporations, even scientists, are like, I don't care what the outcome of this possibly could be, I just need to know. So there is a lot of irresponsibility in moving forward with tech because they don't have, it's not regulated. They can do what they want. And they just are more interested, like, if this turns out to be something cool, it can make me a lot of money. And if it destroys the world, well, then I guess it doesn't matter because none of us are making money anymore. They're doing really crazy things. You've seen the videos where AI, they'll start asking it questions. It's like, well, I think the best would be just to destroy humanity because you're the plague. That's
right.
Freaking Cyberdyne talking there. That is Skynet. Like, they are basically saying what James Cameron was writing in this film. So he is not that far off from where we're living now. So it's really super relevant and scary.
Cameron, he's what I call him, the futurist, because if you look at his films, especially the Avatar films, he's so deep on technology, and so I think he knows what's going on, some bizarre reason.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking 1991.
Well,
there wasn't even an inkling.
Well, I think we're actually
of AI in 1991. Not even. I mean, we all talked about robots.
That's not
stuff,
true.
Well,
that's not true. The first AI was 1961. It was what was the name of it? It was Elsie or something like that. And people would talk to it and get psychological advice, and they were like, "No, this isn't what it's for," and they took it offline.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's probably some DARPA-esque stuff going on here where those guys are 20 years ahead of everybody else, but I don't believe James Cameron has insight to what those guys are doing. That's secret government think tank.
He probably had heard of at least Moore's Law, and Moore's Law has been fairly consistent.
I think as a human society, we should make a last stand and not use AI anymore.
There we go. The genesis of this can be really bad for us.
Good one.
Because next thing you know, we're going to get the rise of the machines. So that's why we should, take down Cyberdyne, much like our titular characters have done or are going to do in this film. And the fact that, they decide to destroy the lab that Miles Dyson is working in. And what's really cool is I think at that point we move from Act 2 into Act 3. And we see probably this like nonstop, like I would say it's almost like a guitar solo from the beginning all the way to the end of the movie of just action packed, nonstop explosions, destruction. This is the action sequence of the entire movie, and I love it. I mean, at this point, I basically just put my pen down from taking notes, and I just watched this from the point where they enter Cyberdyne all the way to the steel plant, and it's like a tour de force of action. I don't know how many weeks and nights they spent filming this, but it is awesome.
I actually looked that up, Matt, and I can tell you that they actually filmed it heavy for a span of 5 days, and on the 6th day, they were done.
All right. Can fit that one in. Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, one. Oh my God.
There you
that
go.
was number one.
So I know we could probably spend like another 3 hours just going through this whole end sequence. There's just two things that I want to mention, and I think Joey kind of hinted at it with our whole twins comment. But we get to see Linda Hamilton acting opposite of her sister, her twin sister Kathleen. I loved that part, and I also love the whole sequence when the T-1000 is frozen by liquid nitrogen, and we get probably the biggest pop culture phrase for the next 10 years, and that is, of course, "Hasta la vista, baby."
Well, not only is it the biggest catchphrase ever, but if you think about it, it's probably the most expensive. So you think about it. He got paid $15 million to do this role, right? And he's the Terminator. He doesn't have a whole lot to say. So he says, 700 lines of dialogue or something? If you break it all down, 15 million by 700 lines of dialogue. So Visa costs $85,716.
Wow.
By word for word, it's $21,000 per word almost. It's the most expensive catchphrase ever uttered in a movie. Fun fact. There you go.
Crazy. Well, let's go around. Let's just kind of briefly go around the table then, and just tell us what's your favorite scene in the whole end of this movie. And I'll go to you first, Joey, because you've been kind of quiet.
What's my favorite scene in the entire movie?
No, just the end sequence from the point when they enter Cyberdyne all the way up to the point when Arnold gets lowered into the vat of molten steel.
It's not a scene; it's a sequence, and it's more like action. I like we get another truck chase. We get the helicopter chase. I think how's it go? It goes helicopter. It goes motorcycle into helicopter, and then the semi, and then they're in a shitty pickup truck with like a weird house built on the back of the hatchback. And he's like, "This is the vehicle's top speed." And it's a lot of fun. Basically, this is where the Terminator 2, the arcade game, picks up when you travel from the future back to the past. They throw you right into Cyberdyne, and then we have the truck sequence and the helicopter sequence, and then boom, you're at the steel mill. And that game is very significant in that Linda Hamilton had her image captured by Midway, and so did Edward Furlong. And they used existing footage of Arnold Schwarzenegger from like publicity stills, but he did provide new voice work. But this one really made you feel like you're in the movie. And the liquid nitrogen scene is amazing. That's probably my favorite scene, effects wise. And you got to experience that in the game in a way. And it really takes me back.
Nice. It's funny how you segued into video games when if anyone on this panel would have gone into video games, I would have expected Dungeon Master too. So I'm going to slide over to him real quick. Dungeon Master, what's your favorite part of the end sequence of this film?
I think a lot of the main ones are the same ones that Joey had mentioned. I mean, I think that's across the board for probably all of us. The nitrogen one, the seemingly obnoxious driving a motorcycle up through the stairwell just so that you could drive your motorcycle through the window and into a helicopter. That, by the way, you didn't know was there when you were driving it up there to begin with.
Yeah. He headbutts the helicopter too, and then he oozes into the chair.
Yeah. So
and I forgot to mention when he's driving it. If you watch it, probably some people saw it in the theater, but more probably when we're out of the blurry VHS into DVD and Blu-ray. He's got 3 arms at one point. He's shooting with 2 guns and he's steering with a 3rd arm.
4.
Yeah, he's got 4 arms. Yeah, and the helicopter's got 4 arms, 2 flying, 2 shooting.
That's amazing.
Obviously, that stuff is cool. Andre mentioned the last moment of Dyson. Woo. But yes, those last moments, that was pretty cool. But for me, the thing that I thought was really, really, really cool, and you guys know that I like this kind of stuff in movies, when particular skill sets are validated through the exposition. So earlier on in the video, we had made mention that John Connor has a particular skill set that he acquired when he was younger by his mother in order to prep him, in order to be a survivor, in order to be the leader of the free world. And one of these tricks, quote unquote, that she showed him was how to, in a pinch, be able to hack into an ATM machine in order to get a few $100 of cash. So, I mean, I don't know how exactly relatable that it is in order to hack into a safe like that compared to the ATM. But still, I thought it was cool. I thought it was like, yeah, I guess maybe that can maybe make sense. Maybe
that Atari word processor goes for lots of money now.
That what he used to
yeah.
get
So
in
when
there?
people trying to get that model,
yeah. So that I thought that was super cool. And are we saving reservations as far as to exactly what happens at the end, or
no? If you want to talk on it, because after we go around the round table, I've got one last question for you, and then we're going to move into our death clock.
The only in the fires of Mount Doom where it has been made can it be unmade. So that was amazing. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's like cool, man. That's like the one weakness that you have, and it's fucking molten lava, molten metal. That's your weakness, buddy. So I thought that was cool.
Well, if ice doesn't work, you got to use fire. So. All right, Andreas, what's your favorite sequence in the whole third act of this film?
Well, oh god, it's tough because there's so many great moments. I will say the helicopter one. First off, the stunt work in this movie is incredible. We've been addressing that throughout this pod, and the helicopter chase scene, one of the most impressive things like I ever seen in action. I never seen an action scene where you see a helicopter chasing our main hero, like in the road. Like that's so spectacular. It's so crazy. It's so real. Like it's like, oh my god.
Well, how about you, Tim? What was your favorite sequence in the third act of this movie?
All right, so I got a little bit more than my favorite sequence just because I got a couple like tie-ups for the podcast. So one, this was this sequence I was talking about, the blowing up of Cyberdyne. This is the thing that was carried over from the last film. And if you think about it, he had to write a whole movie around that plot point. Like this is, it was taken out of the last one. And we know it's something that they were going to do. And he does a great job at it. I just wanted to point that out, that's what this basically spawned this whole movie. And he did an excellent job. He had to write this whole front end just to get to that. And he did a great job with it. So it's really rock solid. 2, we get a great action sequence at the end here with that helicopter chase and the helicopter going underneath the bridge. That is the most dangerous stunt done in this movie because they were originally going to do it with CGI, and they're like, I don't think we can pull this off and make it look good. So the helicopter pilot, who's the guy that gets pushed out of the helicopter, he's the legit stuntman helicopter pilot. He's like, oh shit, I'll just drive it underneath the bridge. So they're like, all right. And the camera crew's like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. We're not going to film this. The camera's like, you give me the camera, you bunch of babies.
Yeah.
And he filmed that. So he's literally on the back of the truck filming that as a helicopter pilot, not just once, but twice drives it underneath that bridge so they can capture that sequence. So that is the absolute most dangerous stunt after the motorcycle, with the lines coming off the top of that, basically, I don't know, cement platform. So
yeah.
That answers Rick's question. I just wanted to tie those up because I know I had mentioned them earlier. As far as my favorite scene goes, I'm going to agree with Joey. It is the T-1000 getting hit with the nitrogen and getting completely frozen. And I mean, one, it's just cool because it breaks him. I mean, it completely freezes him, and you got this guy, he's frozen. He doesn't quite understand what the hell is going on, and he's walking. And James Cameron actually found an amputee that's actually a legit dude that doesn't have legs and stuff that's doing that as they're coming through.
Really?
So they got this guy coming out of yeah. So that's a legit actor that's missing limbs that's doing that for that sequence.
Crazy.
And it's just like the robot can't comprehend like why this is happening to him, and then he completely gets shattered by by the T-800, and they're like, it's done. But it's not because, as Rick wanted to point out, they're in a place where they're pumping out iron, the Mount Doom of the film, where, they're in this steel plant, and, so it's heating it back up, and he starts to slowly come back together. He's like, we don't have much time. So you think, oh my God, this thing's unstoppable. This is the Michael Myers of basically cyborgs. And he comes back together, but he starts to glitch. You start to see him have little problems. He starts to do little glitches. So you're like, oh, there is a chink in the armor. So I enjoy that, because not only does he get completely shattered, he comes back together, but now it's not quite right anymore. So he's starting to have problems maintaining. So he's kind of quickly rebooting over and over again to maintain and keep moving forward. So I enjoy that little bit of like, okay, he's finally got a chink in the armor. And we know, much like the Ring and the Lord of the Rings, if they can just get him to the fire of Mount Doom,
cast it into the
we
fire.
can destroy this thing. So I enjoyed that thoroughly. Yes. Get to the fire! Yeah, so yeah. It was a very
what
nice
are you
touch.
waiting
Very
for,
nice
Frodo?
Although, I the only thing I will say that I think is the other large loophole, Matt pointed out the one at the beginning of the film. I think the massive loophole to this whole film at the end of the film is that they're like, oh, we have to destroy everything. And then, there's no more, there's no more dark future. So we can, move forward. Fate is no longer in play here. It's opened up to us. But the arm, he gets the arm caught in the giant ass gear, and they don't destroy the arm. So it's like, they might as well just left that arm there with a sign that said to be continued as it goes around in the loop,
I wrote that in my notes too, Tim. I was like, wait a minute. They didn't get everything.
Yeah. I think I've tied up all my commentary here at the end.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's been fun talking about T2. I think T2 is probably my top 5 favorite sequels, and I gotta say it's interesting that 1991 was a hot year for Cameron, because he came out with this movie, and I feel, and I'm sure it's on people's list, but I feel that this movie kind of sets the bar for sequels. Like, there's a lot of sequels out there that it has diminishing returns, but I think this movie, the way that Cameron wrote it, directed it, anchored it all to the first movie, kind of set the bar for us to see what a good sequel is like. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Do you think there's another movie out there that's a better bar for sequels? And you know what? I'm going to go to you first, Rick. What do you think?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say a new bar. It is definitely, I think Andreas earlier kind of said it pretty well when he was like, look, there's nothing wrong with the Terminator movie. The Terminator movie is fantastic. But I think when you consider this compared to that, in most people who watch these films, they're probably going to say that this one is better. And I don't mean like it's better. Like, they're both fantastic, and this one is a fucking rock-solid movie. This is an amazing movie. So it's definitely better, but it doesn't take anything away from the first one, because that one was hella good, too, I don't know if I'd necessarily go that far to say that this is the new bar, because Empire, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really good sequels out there, but I do get your point, because there's a whole lot of cash grabbing out there where, especially we're talking about Disney movies. Disney movies are the absolute worst sequels out there. They have the worst sequels out there, man. So this one, very, very good. And I could definitely see why someone would say, like, this sets the bar, higher and stuff. For action movies, I think I might agree with you, though, Matt. If we're talking about action movies, yeah, I think that does, actually, yes.
All right. Well, what about you, Joey? You got any thoughts on, does this movie set a new bar for sequels?
I disagree with Rick. I think Cinderella 2 and Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar were far, far better than the originals.
No, Aladdin 2 was good. Aladdin 2 was good. But, dude, Pocahontas 2, bro? Come on, man. Come on, bro.
They couldn't get Robin Williams to come back, so they got the voice of Homer Simpson. But they did have Gilbert Gottfried return.
Really?
So I'll give them that for Aladdin 2. Anyhow, way off topic. I think we haven't seen a sequel that was this good and better than the original since the last sequel that James Cameron did with Aliens. So I think he topped himself. It's hard to say. Like, depending on the day, I might want to watch Aliens versus Terminator 2. That's a hard decision.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. They both have great, strong female leads, and they're both directed by James Cameron. So yeah, how about you, Andreas? Where's your thoughts on this?
Oh, I was just taking a look at best sequels, and it's really tough. I think it depends on your mood and like also the genre of the film. Like this is a sci-fi action film. As a sequel to that, it's definitely up there. I mean, like in terms, I think I'll definitely put this over Empire Strikes Back because just in general, like.
Blasphemer! Heretic! Apostate!
Yeah, hold on.
Due to Andreas' inability to recognize a great film, he will no longer be allowed on the podcast.
No, I should froze myself completely. Kind of freeze. No. It depends because like the fact that this feels like it's a closed chapter. That's like it feels complete. Where something like Empire Strikes Back is like. Okay. A middle chapter, right?
Yeah,
like sometimes you get that in film series,
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, it's not a knock on Empire Strikes Back.
Although Terminator did have a sequel after this too. They had a part 3, so yeah.
Yeah, true, but
5 of them.
Yeah, 5 of them.
They fucked it up so bad they had to keep going.
I know it's so bad. I can't believe it. But no. Answering Matt's question, I think is a really great action sequel. Because that's a rare thing to do. Because sometimes those action sequels do a really bad job of like not thinking about the characters and like they just think about how can we amp up the action, And Terminator 2 does both, like which is a really impressive thing. And plus, they're doing the same thing as the first film. That's something we didn't address. Like the ending of this movie is the same thing as the first movie. The fact that it's a completely different movie from the first one, it's like really impressive how Cameron did that. That's like a really tough order. I think it's up there, but it's like it's really tough to like put this as number 1 as the greatest sequel of all time. It's up there as top 10, but as a movie, it's really good, and it's just a shame that we got more sequels and that it just didn't capture the first 2 successfully, and that's the part that's kind of like holding me back.
Gotcha.
Putting this higher, in terms of top sequels,
Gotcha. The diminishing returns after this is kind of lowered it in your personal eyes. Well, how about you, Tim? Is this the Brecken 2 Electric Boogaloo of Terminator films?
I do love me a little Electric Boogaloo, but no. But I totally disagree with Andreas. I'm sorry. But if you're going to have the standard of the best sequel ever, it's Empire. By hands down, it's before this film.
Mm-hmm.
It has time and again gone up against every other film ever. And not only is it the greatest sci-fi film ever made, as far as most of the sci-fi community is concerned, but it is also the greatest sequel ever made. It is the measuring stick to which every other movie is put up against. Now, is this in the top tier of sequels? Yes, absolutely. I mean, if we're gonna break it down after Empire, it's in no particular order. T2 better than Terminator 1, Mad Max 2. Or as we like to know it, Whitey, the Road Warrior, better than than the original Mad Max. Kind of jumping ahead 2 movies, Army of Darkness, far more entertaining than the original Evil Dead. Joey might have a different opinion on that. But yeah, I mean, we all love the Army of Darkness better. Aliens better than Alien, although Alien's a great film. But
Evil Dead 2 is the best of the first 3 Evil Dead movies.
Okay, so there you go. So
Army of Darkness is good. I'll say it's better than 1 because 1's got some parts that drag. But Evil Dead 2 is the...
Yeah, I figured you and I were going to disagree on that. I still think Army of Darkness is superior. But as the horror aficionado, I will bow to your superior kung fu in this one. Aliens, again, better than Alien. I will say the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade probably inches just a little bit past Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No.
Not by much,
Yeah.
but still the superior film. I will also say, Matt, this is for you. The Wrath of Khan, obviously much better than
Yes.
the original Star Trek movie.
Yes,
Wrath of
hands down.
Khan.
In fact, you could just Star Trek 1 and just cut it out. Just take that disc and just throw it out the window.
Yeah. And Dawn of the Dead, better than Night of the Living Dead. Now, granted, it's a little easier when it's a low budget film to outdo it, but still, the concept of that film is fantastic and establishes zombies as we know it, but the second film is far better, so there is a established much better, but Empire is by far the top of the heap. It is the one to which every other one will be, judged against, in my opinion.
I am with you as well. As much as I love Terminator 2, I do think it is a superior sequel film. Empire Strikes Back is still my number one best sequel ever. And now, just to kind of give you guys an idea, according to IMDb, Empire Strikes Back falls in as an 8.7 out of 10 stars. Whereas Terminator 2, the movie we just reviewed, is actually sitting at 8.6 out of 10. So just a little tenth of a star difference between. That's how good Cameron made this movie. It's just that close to the probably my personal favorite.
I think that's valid. I think for second place, it's either this one or Wrath of Khan, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I forgot about Wrath of Khan. That is also another great sequel. That proves a movie that is not good. I was like, wow.
Due to illness, Andreas will now be portrayed by an AI character who would never forget Wrath of Khan or Empire Strikes Back.
No, I'm sorry. I should have those worms in my ears, and then I just like.
Yeah. Well, as I had said, guys, Terminator 2 is an 8.6 out of 10. The reviewers say that Terminator 2 Judgment Day is acclaimed for its innovative special effects and thrilling action sequences. The film explores themes of destiny, sacrifice, and technological risks, enhanced by the strong performances from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Robert Patrick. It's a blend of human emotions with science fiction elements. It is widely appreciated. Despite the minor criticisms about plot consistencies and character development, Terminator 2 is often seen as a superior sequel and elevates the original story and action. So, gentlemen, now that we've seen what IMDb has to say about this, we've reviewed our film, does it rest with our crew with their limited amount of time on this earth? Is it worth taking that 2 hours and 33 minutes off their death clock to watch this film? Tim, what do you say?
Oh, absolutely. Not only should you take the original 2 hours, 2 hours, 33 minutes, you said?
Yes.
But you should do it over and over again. This is an excellent film. It just is. And if you bookend it with, the original Terminator, it's really going to be much longer than that. It's probably going to, clocking closer to 5. But these are movies that you're going to watch over and over again, and you're never going to get tired of it. It's really enjoyable. And as far as sequels go, it's in the top echelon. It's in the top 10 for sure.
All right. Andreas, how about you? Is it worth taking that time off your death clock?
Oh, yeah. It was worth the death clock. This is amazing, fantastic sequel to one of my favorite 80s films. I mean, the Terminator, the 84, is a classic for a reason. And I agree with the review. It's the most, it's a very ambitious sequel. And I prefer the more small, written, fast-paced ritual, but I admire the sequel because it's ambitious, it's big, it's tackling big themes, but at the same time, it's entertaining, and that's so hard. I say before, a couple minutes ago or whatever, hard to balance. And James Cameron just nails it again, which I'm sad. I'm so sad that he cannot do that with the Avatar films. It's God damn it, James, just go back to what you're doing. True Lies. Freaking Terminator 2. God damn it, Aliens. What's the matter with you, man? I get you love nature, but I think you should be sticking with technology. But anyway, So yeah, it's worth the 2 hours, and it's such a rewatchable film. Like that's the weird theme of these sequels. It's like, oh my god, get to the point. But Terminator 2, you get to the point, baby. Love it.
All right. Well, thanks for finding your long way around to getting to the point that you love the movie.
Yes.
All right. So, Rick, what do you say? Is it worth taking time off that death clock?
Is it worth taking time off the death clock? Well, let me go ahead and put it like this. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a fantastic movie. It definitely is something that everyone should watch. It doesn't matter how old you are. I would definitely say that there are plenty reasons to do so. It's got a fantastic setting, fantastic characters, amazing special effects, action sequences, plot. It's like the whole package. It's everything you want when you want to go watch a movie. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Everything from the amazing opening, which, by the way, we really didn't even talk about a whole lot, where the opening scene is a battlefield of futuristic 2029 between the robots, which the Terminators looked fantastic in that sequence, by the way, battling up against humans, all the way to the music, and ending with that explosions and lava and nitrogen and helicopters. It's fucking crazy, man. If you just, I don't know how you wouldn't want to watch it. I just don't. You got to watch it. Got to watch.
All right. Yes. I love your enthusiasm every time you bring it to the show, Rick. Joey.
It's 11 minutes after midnight. I think we're old and tired. This franchise, not old and tired after Terminator 2, that's for sure, but it is now. It's this movie's definitely worth watching. I can't even. I have no idea how many times I've seen the film. I remember, I think on my 13th or 14th birthday, I got it on VHS. For my birthday. I saw it at the theater when I was around John Connor's age. I would have been 11 years old. And James Cameron really, he took a page from Steven Spielberg. He's like, let's do a kids in danger movie, and you're going to have to add some comedy. There's going to have to be some levity, some lightheartedness. And, I mean, there's definitely a boyhood fantasy element to it where, it's like, oh, my own Terminator. It's like, that part seems pretty fucking stupid now, but when you're 11 years old going to see it, it's insane. And yes, it's a rated R movie. There were a lot of kids in the theater. This isn't the first movie that was, rated R movie that's marketed to kids. I want to say RoboCop was one of the earliest ones with the toys. And then we'd also have Aliens, the sequel. But even going back to before I was born with Alien, there was an Alien toy that you could buy. And this one, it went all out. It did toys, it did video games. Aliens did have an arcade game. But I was playing this on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and now people are nostalgic for it. We've got a new video game out now. I implore you guys to check it out. It's Terminator 2D, No Fate. And it's made to look like a really good, Super Nintendo era video game. If you guys played the Terminator 2 on the NES, the controls were better than, and that's really not saying much, than the Sega Genesis. But it looked really bad, but it was fun because you got to relive moments from the movie. It was nothing like T2 the arcade game. And this is the side-scrolling game that you wish you had when you were a kid. So it's amazing, and I can't wait to play it. It's a little pricey, but I'm probably going to get the digital version just because it's cheaper. What I'm saying is that, we're old, and this movie has a lot of nostalgia for people that remember seeing it when they were a kid, and they're going to continue to watch it as adults, and they're going to show it to their kids when they think they're old enough to see it, which is probably about 11 years old, because hey, I was 11 when I saw it, right? And it's not as scary as the first film. So watch it. Watch it until you wear out your VHS tape.
Well,
but preferably watch the Blu-ray So, you get to see the awkward scenes that they don't, George Lucas up in the 4K, which is so clean that it looks like it's shot digitally. If you want to see some film grain, watch the Blu-ray.
So, Joey, hold on real quick. I just got to interject. I got to tell you, Joey, out of all the Terminator games, I think the one that's far superior is the one that you get in the arcade. The Terminator Judgment Day arcade game where you've got a freaking gun and you're shooting the Terminators.
Oh, it was the best of the time, by all means.
This still is, man. This still is, bro.
Did you play the new one?
No, I haven't played the new one, man.
All right, get back to me.
But does it give you a gun? I mean, come on, bro.
Man, that would be a great way to segue into your stuff, Rick. But I still have to give you my death clock. And yes, in fact, this is where the franchise should have just ended. Stop rebooting it or make sequels of diminishing returns. Just stick with 1 and 2. Watch this over and over. This is by far the superior sequel film in the Terminator franchise. So there we have it. All right, gentlemen. It has been a long and lengthy review for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And folks, we would love to hear from you. So please leave us some feedback. You can email our show at mamreviewpodcast@gmail.com and have your email read right here on the show, or leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify, and we'll discuss it here too. So finally, I just want to say thank you, Andreas, for joining us this evening to travel back to the future, past, present, and weird anomaly of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's always great to have you on. We look forward to having you next month for spoilers, folks, A Clockwork Orange. That's right. Andreas is going to show up next month with A Clockwork Orange with us. So without further ado, Tim, you want to wrap us up?
Thanks for listening to Middle Age Movies Podcast and our review of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. We hope you've enjoyed it, because if you didn't, Skynet will know and seal your dark fate by terminating you. If you did enjoy it, take your last stand and subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Help us make this a movie podcast a game changer by growing the MAM community, so we continue to keep you from wasting your precious death clock on expendable movies.
Follow us on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Have a comment or a suggestion? Then email the show at mamreviewpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks. Stay cool. And bye, everyone.
If a machine can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too.
When the lights go down, the big screen gets so bright. I got my favorite beverage, snacks, and my chair feels right. Yeah. Color, silent, black and white. You never know what's on that screen tonight, but you're gonna find out on middle-aged movie reviews. Well, will I like it? Will I like it? 'Cause you know the death clock. No, it's not rewinding. No, will I like it? Will I like it? You know the death clock. No, it's not rewinding. Oh, will I like it? Will I like it? 'Cause you know the death clock.